So I'm in the attic again. I haven't been here for a while, but I thought I would read you some poems again today. And these are about animals. So they're all from The Glass Delusion, which is my second collection, which has a pile of animal bones on the front, which is quite scary actually. Not my idea, publisher, but I quite like it. It's an old photo. So animals, yeah, I've always been fascinated by animals as a child and an adult, and I guess more recently there's lots of stuff around about rethinking a relationship between animals and humans, which I also do a little bit in my novel Water and Glass. But I'm just going to read you a couple of poems about animals that hopefully you might like. This one's called Hare on the Road to Malham, and true story. Malham is in the Yorkshire Dales. The high wind performs a trick and mutes the quiver of our engine. Posed on the single track, a silhouette quarried from limestone crags. The slim funnels of its ears tune in only to the layered dales. You cannot harm a hare. Its curse will settle on your long life. Handbrake locked, we count the dipping of a Y-shaped nose, the blinks of coal-rimmed eyes, scanning the field. There is no sign of a shallow nest, no clutch of upholstered leverets. The imprinted grass is already springing back. Motionless, each pogo limb poised on the road, formed from what will happen next. There are actually a lot of animal poems in my collection, but the ones that I guess are quite interesting to me are ones about the way that we use animals, what we use them for. And this one is about a type of mink called a silver blue, which was bred specifically for the colour of its fur, selectively bred until the fur was a kind of silvery blue, ready to make mink stoles and mink jackets for people. And I guess I wanted to think about that thing of you're wearing this inert animal. Sometimes you would still have like the face and the paws left on your mink stole. But what was it like before it was killed? And they're quite wild, spirited creatures, are mink. Okay, so this is called Silver Blue. I had a vision of the future, you draped across the clavicle of this beautiful woman on a cold New York avenue, your fur like the touch of mist lipping a brook. Your bones, your guts, your heart all gone, turned inside out to leave a shadow of their warmth and this tint that gives your name, silver blue, a freak among a litter of dark brown. Sheen like a spider's web or ice on a lake, the slick rained on street, the hue of low shining plains in midsummer humming over the harbour. They bred generations for your coat, but kept your vicious ways. The rancher holds your thrashing body tight and soft against his face. And when they unzip you to your skeleton and sinew, does your blood remember an ancient shape made for slinking along waterways under a colourless moon? I've been really interested to see various cultural representations of the atoll albatross chicks, most recently in my good friend Naomi Booth's novel Exit Management, where the protagonist is really interested in the idea of contaminants inside the human body. The atoll albatrosses were found to have eaten lots of plastic debris from the sea, which stops them from eating food. It doesn't kill them directly, but it stops them from eating their food, and then they die of starvation. So I was very taken with these really fascinating images of the plastics in the corpses of the albatrosses. And again, they're incredibly beautiful animals. The photos are by someone called Chris Jordan, and you can see the photos at chrisjordan.com, and they've become very famous in the last 10 years or so, I guess. So this is called Albatross. She roams on updrafts, the keel of her breast resting on the wind, scaling each breeze as if it existed only to lift her higher. She navigates 30 years like this with just one other whose grammatical dance has won her. She clacks her notes into the squall, slopes the windward side of a wave to hook out krill and squid, taking their boneless spills of ink. She hang glides from her wings, lofty thoughts behind black eyes. She's no more moving than when she rests day and midnight on the cliff. The world soars through her. It is that way around. The Maori named her Toroa and took her hollow wing bones to scroll histories on their faces. She follows bait hooked to a long line meant for the zeppelin bodies of tuna, and is snagged through her pale beak, dragged while her tattered cloak unravels behind her. Her mate remains. When their one egg hatches, he gathers bright-eyed fish from the tips of the sea. Months later, you're walking the strewn beach and bend to the perfect blown-out tracing of a half-grown chick, covert feathers unzipping to reveal the plastic jetsam in its belly, the buttons, bottle caps and lighters that transferred creature to miscellany. When I was at school, we kept all kinds of things in the classroom. I don't know if they do that anymore, but goldfish and guinea pigs and hamsters. But one of the things that we kept was stick insects, and I always found them really fascinating and a little bit creepy. So this is a poem about stick insects. Thinking matches, wood shavings that creep, slim beige stickle bricks, pencil formed, drawing a shiver, living wicker, moving slowly as skeletons of themselves, a small scaffolding to build thoughts with, a child's dream held bristling on a stalk. In the tank at school, their eggs, black peppercorns. At night, leave them, switching the lights on their dark sketches, knowing that anything might hatch. There are more animal poems in here. Okay, I think I'll end with I'll do a couple more. I'll do a couple more. One is about a rabbit that I also had as a child, and it's a short one, and then the final one is about an octopus, and I love cephalopods, octopuses, squid, fascinated by them. I'll do the rabbit one first. I had a rabbit called Sooty when I was 4, and she died when she was almost 12, I think. So a real part of my my psyche in a way, this little black rabbit. Under the conifer, the soil spins out. The muscles in her glossy back work in the shadows. There's a smell of lime and copper, a shift of worms in the crumbling earth. She'll do this until the roots are exposed, then lie in the self-made hollow, cooling a hot belly, her white nose rising and falling in her dark face like a lamp bobbing in a mine. Sooty was named so because she was entirely black but with a white nose. Final poem is about, do you remember the psychic octopus who predicted the World Cup victory? Well, that's what this is about, and his name was El Polpo, Paul the octopus. Dolefully he unfurls and rolls through rocks and miniature footballs. The crowd watches flagged boxes dip into the tank, the soft flesh of a muscle in each. Paul will choose. He knows. He's known since he hatched in a Weymouth aquarium amongst the large, dark eyes of his siblings. He drapes over the flag of red and gold with a wry look to the paparazzi, one poppered arm looping like a question. He knows what they cannot, a whole watery universe he's never witnessed, drifting plankton, clouds of ink, whales calling from the lower darkness. He doesn't understand, but knows a thought can flex and rumble through the blue. But does he know his mother siphoned water gently over 10,000 winking eggs and guarded them until she shrivelled in her death? Or that his end is written in his billowing, clever cells, that this will be his last prediction. He flushes grey to crimson, seeing days from now the Spanish keeper wrap his long arm around the beautiful reporter's neck. Paul caresses, eases up the plastic lid, devours the muscle through his beak to a burst of flashbulbs, watching the future unravel, the keeper prickled with grass and sweat, refusing to answer any more questions, drawing her close for a kiss, on camera, like a minor god acknowledging his fate.